It's time to put pre-emergent down again, but how much do I need? I always forget. Let's talk about it. What's going on, YouTube? It is Mr. Ferguson here again. Thank you guys so much for coming back for another video here in central North Carolina, where we're still chilly. We're not too cold. We don't have snow, not a drop of snow we've had all year. But it's in the 40s, and we look like we're headed to the 50s and maybe hit some 60s later on the 7-day forecast. But we got nights in the 20s and 30s, so we're still in winter. So thank you so much for tuning in today. Today we want to make it a very clear and very simple video that hopefully will be good for years to come. And that is, we've had several videos on pre-emergent, but I want to specifically just talk about how much pre-emergent do I need to apply, Mr. Ferguson. This is my first bottle that I bought. This will last me maybe till I pass away. I mean, it's a gallon, I think. It was, when I first got into lawn care, it looks like one of those gallon jugs, but of Prodiamine. This will last forever, because when we talk about pre-emergent with specifically Prodiamine, we're talking about a very small amount of ounces that we need to apply. It doesn't take a lot, so if you bought a gallon like me, you got plenty. Now, the other thing I did, which we're going to get into, is I wrote on the back, because I forget so easily, I wrote on the back the amount that I want to typically use. But we're going to discuss this, and we're going to do a little bit of math, and bear with me, because I am not a math person. I'm a DIYer, as I always tell you guys. But when we know that number and we get it, I would encourage you to put it on your bottle for the next years. You don't have to go through and go to my video or go to anybody's page or anything. You've got it located, not even on a book, but on the bottle that you're going to use. So just my advice there. So today I want to get into the exact amount of Prodiamine we need. So we're talking about, first of all, obviously we're talking about Prodiamine. We're not talking about dithiopyr. Dithiopyr is a different pre-emergent that many people of you in the comments section have said, I like to use dithiopyr or dithapyr, whatever the other word y'all pronounce it, I don't know. But you said, I like to use that, Mr. Ferguson, in the springtime to help with crabgrass. I like to use my Prodiamine in the fall because I'm overseeding my fescue, and that's totally fine. I've always used my Prodiamine in the spring because most of the time I'm not using pre-emergent in the fall. So I'm going to continue with what has worked for me for the past 3 or so years, and so that is using Prodiamine. So that's what I want to focus on today. And I'm going to be putting a little pictures on the screen here to help you. So let's jump right into it. Mr. Ferguson, how much Prodiamine do I need to put in my lawn to stop crabgrass? Number one, that's the main thing we're trying to accomplish. We're trying to stop crabgrass. Now is the time. When you're watching this video, it's cold, it's winter, and you're not thinking about March and April of what your lawn is going to look like if you're new to lawn care. Now, if you're a veteran, like some of the people in the comments and some of the people that watch these videos, they know the drill. This is when we have to be thinking about what's going to be in our lawn in the spring, when everybody else just begins to wake up and come outside. They're like, oh, let me go to Lowe's now. And Lowe's has got the big sale on, how to kill crabgrass and all that. You're going to prevent it before it ever comes up in your lawn. So you're watching the right video, and thank you for tuning in. So I'm going to use my other phone here, but I want to put some graphics on the screen. Now that we've discussed all of that, we're trying to target crabgrass, right? Well, when is the right time, Mr. Ferguson? When do I put down pre-emergent? Let's ask that question. I go off what Alan Haynes has taught, because again, it's worked for me, and in my experience, I've never had crabgrass pop up until well late in the summer, and that is right around the 50 to 55 degree soil temperature mark. Is that the gospel of when you have to put down pre-emergent? Absolutely not. You can put down pre-emergent anytime you want. It's your lawn, but the recommendation is it begins to germinate between 55 degrees, between 70 degrees. That is the temperature range of your soil that crabgrass begins to germinate. You can't see it, but it's happening in the dirt. So we want to stop it before it starts. So even if it's 52, if your average soil temperature is getting to 52, 53, I would say that is when I would start to put it down. I looked in my app of Yard Mastery the other day and noticed that my soil temps was right at 50. I'm like, okay, it's time to be paying attention. I know we're still in January, but it's time to be paying attention of when I need to put this application down. So we know when, we know why we're doing it. So let's talk about how much do I need to put down. you need to read the label of Prodiamine. I showed you that bottle just a second ago. It's got a label there. Read that. Or you can Google it like me and look up the PDF version, and it will help you out and give you what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to put a chart up either to my left or right. I'm going to stand on this side, so Mr. Ferguson put the chart over there on the gap. But I'm looking at the same chart that I'm placing here. You can see on this chart that they tell you on the label how much Prodiamine controls for how many months. So you see at the top there, 0.50 will control just over 2 months. That little graph, it goes over the 2-month mark. It almost goes to the 4, it looks like on my phone. So it almost looks like 3. So it's pretty close. But notice under where it says on the left side of the bar graph, notice where it says Prodiamine 65 WDG rate. It says pounds per acre. Very important. So I'm going to put another graph up here, and this is from the Lawn Care. This is the blog that I go to every year before I wrote it on my bottle. And I'm going to move because of the sun coming after me. Let me tilt this way. Woo, sun's coming out. Let's go over here. All right, sorry about that. But this is the blog I go to, that the Lawn Care Nut, that has helped me every year. And so here's that picture right here. And he says we need to break this down to ounces per 1,000 square feet instead of pounds per acre. That's exactly right. We don't want to go off the rate of pounds per acre unless you have, you're putting it down. You're going by how many acres you have. That's a huge piece of property, right? Most of us have 8,000 square feet, 5,000 square feet, 12,000 square feet, right? So we need to break this down, and that's what he does in this blog post. I will link that post so you can read the whole thing below. He goes into details about everything he does, but I'm going to cut to the chase and give you the short answer. So on the next one, Mr. Ferguson put up here, the next one, he converts it and he shows you how to do the math to convert it. If you're like me, you're not a math person, you're just like, just tell me the answer. I don't care how the math works. How much do I need to put down for how much coverage? Here you go. He tells you, we have now converted from pounds an acre to ounce a 1,000 square feet, and know that 0.183 ounces per 1,000 will give us an average of 2 months of pre-emergent control. Now remember that bar graph again. I'm not going to put it back up, but that bar graph was a little over 2. So that 0.5 that he did is actually closer to 2.5, 3 months. So, but 0.183, that's why you hear that number thrown around in the lawn care community. 0.183, where'd that come from? Well, it may have come from this blog post or other people that's better at math than myself. But there's your quick answer. If we know that 0.183 ounces per 1,000 gives us 2 months, then if you double that, 0.183 ounces times 2, you know that will give you roughly 4 months. So when we're talking about split applications, I'll put my other phone down there. When we talk about split applications, if you're wanting to do 4 months and 4 months, the other thing you need to be careful about is, what is my yearly limit? That is also in the label of Prodiamine. Read up on that. Am I going to cross over my yearly limit if I do 4 months? Now, a lot of people, we got split apps and we got just one app. Maybe you're just saying, I just want to do one app, put it down, and do 6 months of coverage and be done with it. That is totally fine. As long as you're under the yearly limit for your lawn, that is fine. I choose to use all my Prodiamine now, stopping crabgrass, and I will use dithiopyr because on that topic, it's worked in my backyard. I normally, at this time, at February, end of January, we'll begin to see little sprouting up of Poa annua, see the little seed heads pop up. I've not seen the first one in any of the areas where I put my dithiopyr this year for the first time in my backyard. I've not seen any Poa annua, so I believe that dithiopyr has done its job in the fall. But I'm going to use my Prodiamine now in the springtime. So I'm going to do split apps. That's what Mr. Ferguson's always done. That's what I've done, and it's worked for me. So I'm going to do the 2 month first. I'm going to do 0.183 ounces, and I've got a, with my backpack sprayer with the peat nozzles, it's a 4-gallon tank, but it puts out 8,000 gallons, it puts out 8 gallons worth of product. So you have to know your sprayer as well. It's another minor detail. If you got a 2-gallon sprayer and it puts out, and you're going 2,000 square feet per fill up, well, then you would do 0.183 twice. Fill it up, spray it, come back, refill that number, 0.183 times 2 for your sprayer. I had that on one of my old bottles because I used to have a 2-gallon sprayer. Now I have a 4-gallon sprayer plus the peat nozzle, so I'm doing my whole yard in one tank of 8,000 square feet. So I do it all in one tanks. So it depends on the tank that you have. So I can't answer that for you individually. But if we know 0.183 does that, and if you're like, well, I want to go ahead on my first application and put down 4 months of coverage, so 0.183 times 2, and then you get that number and then times how many thousand square feet you have. So I hope I'm not confusing you out there. It's not that difficult, but 0.183 per 1,000 square feet for 2 months of coverage. Keep that locked in, write it on your bottle, and then go by how many ounces or how many gallons you're going to do for your entire yard. I've got 8,000 roughly, so that's why I go with 0.183 times 8. And normally that's what I'll do. And then I'll come back, and the recommendation is right around the 65, 67 degree mark in soil temperatures, you do another Prodiamine application to catch any more crabgrass that may have slept through your first application of Prodiamine. You're catching it the second time. You're applying it again. You're doing another 2 months, 3 months of coverage, and that will last you all the way out into the summer. And now you're covered. You don't have to worry about crabgrass while your neighbors are in watching football, watching NFL, watching basketball and sports, and you're out there bundled up like me. I'm freezing right now, and you're out here spraying your Prodiamine. You're handling crabgrass for the year. You won't have to worry about it. Just keep in mind, you do want to spray it in. I was reading up, do I need to spray in? I can't remember that part. Yes, you want to activate the Prodiamine by at least a ½ inch of water, applying it to your lawn within 7 days of applying it. So like today, it's mushy and wet. We've had rain here lately. I would not want to be watering my lawn today, so it would be a bad time to apply it. So apply it when you can also get out there and just at least give it a little bit of water to water it in, or again, apply it before some rain comes. So I am freezing. I'm about to head back inside and do some other things, but thank you for tuning in. I hope this gets right down to the meat of how much Prodiamine you need, what the rates are. Use this video as a reference. Give it a thumbs up if it has helped you, especially if you're a new homeowner. I know that we always like, how much Prodiamine do I need? I do this thing once a year. I gotta go look it up again. Save this video, pass it on to your buddies. Comment below anything else that you want to throw in to help other lawn care enthusiasts out there. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm freezing. I'm about to go in, and we'll let you know when we're about to do our Prodiamine here. We'll do it on camera. God bless you. Tune in next time. Okay, I'm cold. That's it. God bless.